Two ghost-hunting vloggers came to Taiwan's most haunted place, Xinglin Hospital, in search of thrills. This hospital was shrouded in countless paranormal legends, and the locals dared not step inside, but the two vloggers walked in with great excitement. Once inside, they realized the place had long turned into ruins, with bones scattered across the ground and dried bloodstains everywhere. It truly lived up to its reputation as the most haunted site. At that moment, the man heard a strange cry echoing from deep within the hospital, and despite his girlfriend's warnings, he went to investigate alone.
Ethan? Babe?
In the end, their curiosity cost them their lives. Two lifeless bodies were later found at the hospital's entrance, and the news quickly spread across the media. Police identified the victims as outsiders and initially ruled it a suicide. However, the internet was soon flooded with speculation. Some believed it was an accident, others called it a prank, and a few suspected something even darker. As it turned out, 30 years ago, Xinglin Hospital was plagued by medical malpractice scandals that destroyed its reputation. Later, rumors of ghostly sightings and unexplainable supernatural events spread, and the hospital was ultimately abandoned. Now, with this eerie tragedy, fear of Xinglin Hospital grew even stronger. Most people were terrified after hearing about it, but a group of social media influencers felt excited instead. They decided to host a live stream inside Xinglin Hospital, convinced that capturing shocking footage would make their channel go viral worldwide. Their leader, Enrique, promised that if the live stream reached 3 million viewers, the company would double everyone's pay and even add extra bonuses. The team of 7 grew eager after hearing about the doubled salary. Before heading out, they even appeared on a Philippine talk show where Enrique boldly claimed the live stream would be irresistible to viewers. Soon, they arrived in Taipei, where a local guide warmly welcomed them. The night before the live stream, everyone was so excited they could barely sleep, brimming with confidence about their broadcast. The next day, 12 hours before going live, the guide took them to visit a well-known local medium. The medium warned that countless restless spirits roamed Xinglin Hospital, each carrying heavy grudges. She reminded them to respect these spirits, never remove anything from the hospital, and never treat them as entertainment, or they would disturb the spirit's peace and risk being haunted. That night, their driver bribed the hospital's guard, and they slipped inside undisturbed. They then began setting up the live stream equipment, attaching monitors to each member. Enrique sat in front of the screens watching everyone's footage, while the others prepared to begin that night's exploration. Under the guide's direction, they lit incense and prayed for safety, hoping the broadcast would run smoothly. Soon, 6 of them went to explore the second floor. The moment they opened a door, a foul stench filled the air. Surgical instruments lay discarded everywhere, and in one glass container was even a preserved fetus, a horrifying sight that made their skin crawl. Then, Rob found a strange object with hair on it, seemingly human tissue. He picked it up to scare the others and even threw it in Zarkaru's face to disgust him. His behavior angered the group, who found it unacceptable and demanded he stop fooling around. Meanwhile, Enrique carefully monitored the live stream, which was already trending, and told everyone to keep the tension alive for better results. To get more shocking footage, Enrique split them into pairs to explore different parts of the hospital. MJ and Zarkaru were assigned to the 4th floor. Jane and Rob were sent to the children's ward, where a nurse had once committed murders. Raph and Alexa went to the operating room. At that time, the live stream already had 160,000 viewers, but to reach the goal of 3 million, they needed to find even more terrifying footage. Raph explained that the operating room had once been used for cult rituals and traditional practices, and tonight they would reveal the truth to their audience. Meanwhile, Jane and Rob entered the children's ward, where 30 years ago, 15 children had been poisoned by their caregiver nurse. The motive behind the killings remained a mystery, and tonight their mission was to uncover the truth behind the nurse's crimes. On the 4th floor, MJ and Zarkaru felt overwhelmed by the eerie atmosphere. Zarkaru shivered as he raised his detector, which began beeping non-stop, indicating a spirit nearby. Suddenly he felt dizzy, then his nose started bleeding, and he collapsed weakly to the floor. When Enrique learned of this, he told Zarkaru through the radio to return to base. Meanwhile, Raph and Alexa also made a new discovery. They found an altar in the operating room with various offerings and 2 talismans, clearly a place of worship in the past. As Raph spoke to the live stream, Alexa lit incense and prepared to pray. Raph quickly stopped her, warning that she might disturb the ghosts. But Alexa dismissed his concerns, insisting she was only praying. Then a cabinet beside them creaked open. Alexa, instead of being frightened, grew excited. Inside, the cabinet was lined with talismans meant to ward off something terrifying. Without hesitation, Alexa crawled inside. Inside the cabinet was a long passage, and Raph, worried that Alexa might be in danger, had no choice but to follow her in. Soon they reached the end and found a ritual site with a portrait of a deity on the wall. Though the place was unsettling, Alexa showed no fear and boldly picked up the offering offerings. She had already forgotten the medium's warnings. Raph worried they would anger the spirits, sparking a heated argument. Alexa accused him of cowardice and chose to continue alone. Meanwhile, in the children's ward, Rob dug through a drawer and found old photos. In one of them, they saw Wu Shuzhen, the nurse responsible for killing the 15 children. After Wu Shuzhen was executed, her spirit was said to linger at Xinglin Hospital. To test this, Rob began calling out her name. Jane panicked, believing it would disturb the spirits, and tried to stop him. But in the next second, the lights began flickering non-stop and all the detectors started blaring alarms.
Jane, can you hear me? Rob, hello?
Wu Shuzhen had been summoned, leaving Jane drenched in cold sweat. But Rob remained calm, thinking it was just another stunt Enrique had arranged for the live stream. Enrique himself was also confused, and he immediately replayed the footage. Hearing Enrique's terrified voice, Rob finally realized the danger, and he wanted to end this and leave as soon as possible. Just then, the sound of a baby crying suddenly came from nearby, and as they followed the noise into a ward, a crib suddenly moved. Rob was already drenched in sweat, but in order to capture more shocking moments for the live stream, he forced himself to step closer to investigate. Jane and Rob were tormented by the piercing noises until they could no longer bear it, and they quickly ran back to the base to meet up with Enrique. Meanwhile, Raph was searching alone for Alexa when strange laughter echoed from upstairs, frightening him into running back to the base as well. At this point, except for Alexa, the other 5 had returned to Enrique, and after experiencing so many eerie events, they all wanted to end the livestream and leave immediately. Raph said he no longer cared about the money. All he wanted now was to stay alive. Just then, Zarkaru, who had returned to base first, suddenly began vomiting. Everyone realized that ghosts had already latched onto them and begged Enrique to end the live stream immediately. But the live stream had already reached 1.1 million viewers, and if they pushed on just a little longer, they could hit the 3 million goal, and Enrique did not want to give up so easily. However, Zarkaru's condition was critical, and he needed urgent medical help. But the driver explained that the gate had been locked by security, and it could not be opened until the next morning when staff returned. Helpless, the group stopped arguing, and after calming down, Enrique suggested splitting up to find Alexa first. At that moment, Alexa was boldly wandering the hospital alone when she suddenly saw a shadow flash ahead, and it didn't look like any of her teammates. Her eyes widened in terror, and she quickly hid in a corner. Moments later, the figure seemed to vanish, and Alexa turned on her light again to film, when suddenly a soft voice whispered her name. This time, Alexa was so terrified that she scrambled into a storage room to hide. The others searched everywhere for Alexa, and Raph noticed a small table by the staircase with a photo placed on it, just as he curiously reached out to pick it up and take a closer look. Meanwhile, Enrique also joined the search for Alexa and unexpectedly discovered a statue. In the drawer beneath the statue, there was an album made of human skin. As he looked through it, the horrifying truth dawned on him. A cult had once operated inside Xinglin Hospital, sacrificing patients to dark forces, and that was why the hospital remained haunted to this day. The murdered patients had turned into vengeful spirits, forever trapped here, and now the entire Xinglin Hospital was shrouded in resentment. Enrique was terrified by the cruel truth and had no idea what to do. Meanwhile, as MJ was searching for Alexa, she noticed fresh, still wet blood on the stairs, and a dreadful feeling instantly rose in her heart. She followed the trail of blood slowly up the stairs, only to find Raph's body pierced through by a steel pipe. At the same time, Rob also fell into danger, his body overtaken by a spirit that bound him to the operating table. Jane, hearing Rob's desperate cries through her earpiece, rushed to find him and finally spotted his figure on the rooftop. She cautiously called out his name and slowly approached, but Rob gave no reply. Jane froze in her tracks, but the very next moment, a horrifying scene unfolded.
Rob. Rob!
Jane.
Rob, I'm scared.
Meanwhile, Enrique had found Alexa, and she had discovered a camera in the storage room containing footage of the couple who had died just days earlier. Watching the video, Enrique regretted ever coming here. He realized they had to leave immediately, or everyone would perish inside Xinglin Hospital. He quickly radioed the others to regroup. However, just as Jane was about to return to the base, she suddenly sensed movement behind her. Frightened, she ran forward until she stumbled into the children's ward, where the sound of crying filled the air, and the next second she saw a blood-stained infant lying on the floor. When Enrique found her, Jane had already lost her life. Tears of regret streamed down his face as he blamed himself, knowing that if not for his idea, none of them would have come here. When Enrique and Alexa returned to the base, they discovered that Zarkaru and Rob had already died, while the live stream viewer count soared to 2.78 million, just shy of their goal. But Enrique no longer cared about numbers, and with Alexa he desperately kicked at the doors, yet they would not open. Suddenly, they heard MJ crying for help and realized one teammate had survived, so they ran toward the sound. At last, they saw MJ crying in a corner. Enrique and Alexa were so terrified that they ran forward without looking back. Meanwhile, the live stream count kept climbing, already reaching over 2.9 million. But during their escape, Alexa was grabbed by the legs and dragged quickly into the darkness. But Enrique did not choose to give up. Instead, he rushed forward to save Alexa, yet the ghost that had just attacked her suddenly turned into his own likeness. Seeing this, Enrique panicked instantly. He collapsed to the ground, recalling everything before the live stream, realizing that if not for his suggestion, none of them would have lost their lives. Thinking of this, Enrique was filled with deep regret, and in the end, he made a major decision. Soon, the incident involving Enrique and his team spread wildly online, with millions watching their deadly live stream adventure. Yet even after this, Xinglin Hospital continued to lure thrill seekers, people still willing to risk their lives to uncover its secrets. That was the full story of the 2025 Philippine version of Strange Frequencies, Taiwan Killer Hospital. Also filmed in a found footage style, its overall atmosphere is carefully crafted to deliver a terrifying experience, making it well worth watching. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.